Welcome to this edition of the Eric Squared Circle Show. My name is Eric Ozio. I'm here with my good friend and colleague, Mr. Eric Robinson. We were just here yesterday. No, 2 days ago. Giving
Yesterday.
the WrestleMania Super Show early yesterday.
It's been a long weekend, man. Hasn't it?
I don't really believe in weekends anymore at this point. They're all the same. Every
what
day
day
is the
is it?
same. I thought it was Monday, honestly. I'm not going to lie. But
So did I,
anyways,
yeah.
we got part 1 in the books of WrestleMania 36. We're going to just dive in. A little show here. Not even really a full episode. We just want to come out and give our reactions to the show last night. Our ups, our downs, our in-betweens. The card, very overall pretty good considering everything that's going on. And potentially could show officials how the wrestling industry can handle a pandemic such as this and still continue thriving. Give me your initial thoughts, Mr. Robinson.
First of all, happy day 2 of WrestleMania. It's still a special occasion, and even though WrestleMania doesn't have that feel when you wake up on Sunday, like you know that you're getting the biggest show of the year. Today it's just kind of the back nine of the biggest show of the year. I think that what we saw last night, given the circumstances, specifically given the circumstances, I'm absolutely blown away. They did a fantastic job with all of their matches, from top to bottom, as far as from a production standpoint, and we'll get into each match specifically as this show goes on. But I really liked the introduction from Stephanie. Vince has always been a guy that I'm in my 70s right now. I don't want to be on TV. They don't want to see me on TV. Steph, you go do it. And that was, true WWE fashion. Given current events, they always like to try to take that moment to reassure people and let them know that, they're going to do what they do best, and that's to entertain us. So I really liked the introduction from Stephanie. And I should not have been surprised that Vince would find some way to do America the Beautiful for even a pre-taped WrestleMania. And the montage, I really, really enjoyed that. There have been a lot of great acts that have performed at WrestleMania over the years. So it was really cool to see them use that footage to put together something that will definitely leave a lasting impression. But overall, as far as the quality of the show that we got, I'm really, really happy with it just because, the pre-show stuck to an hour, very simple format. Peter Rosenberg, Corey Graves, kind of, anchoring it from the command center, a bit of a live element like Triple H promised as far as the backstage crew coming in over Skype. I thought that was really cool. And it really kind of showed in that particular situation that less is more. I don't think that anybody really wanted to see a full Skype WrestleMania pre-show, so to kind of combine those two elements was really cool. I also enjoyed the fact that there was still a pre-show match. I wasn't expecting to see Gulak versus Cesaro, but I'm glad that we at least saw one match as opposed to the 2 or 3 that we would see on a regular pre-show and a bunch of recycled video promos that they're going to show later in the night anyway. So given the circumstances, for me, two thumbs up. I mean, what did you think before we get into, each match by match breakdown, of course?
It was a new perspective on it, and it's the only thing sports entertainment wise I can watch. So I'm going to say I loved it. Aside from maybe a match or two, I thought it was really good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about it. We could talk about the first match. They had the ladies first on night 1.
Yes, we had the
WrestleMania 36.
Woo. Yeah, we had the Kabuki Warriors taking on Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross for the Women's Tag Team Championships. This was a good way to open the match. Open the show. Excuse me. I'm a sucker for good tag team wrestling to kind of kick off a show, and I was excited to see, what it is that we were going to get as far as the first match of the night of WrestleMania during that main pay-per-view broadcast. They really brought it to each other. I've always been a big fan of Kabuki Warriors, and they've really taking a hold on those titles. Alexa and Nikki continue to remain a force, and quite frankly, I'm still surprised that they have been together as long as they have been. If you had asked me, I thought that Alexa would continue to play the mean girl, and once she was done, or once they lost the titles the first time, that she would just turn on her, go their separate ways, maybe set up a blow off, one pay-per-view feud or something. But no, quite the opposite. We actually got history here last night. I believe that Kabuki Warriors are the first two-time women's tag team champions in WWE history at this point. So kudos to them. What's that?
Bliss and Cross?
Yeah, yes. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross making history.
We're just killing it today. Killing it.
I know. I'm on a roll. What can I say, man? Not even that early.
You love Alexa Bliss and her counterpart Nikki Cross. Won just as we both predicted. I love it. It was a good way to open. And I will say they did have some, Gronk obviously in the beginning with the hosting of the show, and he made an appearance and tried to pin R-Truth later on in the show. Other than that, you wouldn't know if you had missed those parts, you wouldn't really know Gronk was even in the WWE. Honestly.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed.
Maybe it'll be more different tonight, but we'll see.
And that's true. I mean, I was a little disappointed in the fact that we saw just those two segments, Gronk opening the show and then mixing it up with Mojo and R-Truth. I would have liked to have seen them do, a few more vignettes just around the Performance Center, kind of a, Gronk getting acquainted to the WWE, world. And there's no small amount of anything that, they could have done to make that, entertaining. I also would have liked to have seen Gronk walk away with the 24/7 championship that night instead of seeing Mojo just kind of push him out of the way.
I think I said that to you right at that happened.
Yeah, I mean, there was no reason to not take that moment to just do something fun, and it's a good way to kind of get Gronk in as a superstar in a way that is entertaining and kind of something you wouldn't expect.
Or here's just a thought. I mean, you can take it or leave it. I don't know what his insurance and physical with WWE is standing, but why not let him pin R-Truth? Takes the belt. Mojo's like, yeah, and then Mojo takes him down, pins him down for the championship. Mojo takes it, and then throughout all this, R-Truth hits Mojo again, takes it back for the 32nd time. That would have been hilarious. I would have been dying. Missed opportunity in my opinion. It would have been a longer. True, would have been only a second segment of Gronk's time on the WrestleMania first night, but at least it would have been a more substantial, had more content, and it would have been funny. And maybe Gronk would have ran around, or maybe spent the rest of the night them running around, and after.
Yeah,
I know this would never happen. Maybe if they just show up at the boneyard and get pinned right outside the boneyard, it's R-Truth took the championship back, because it's all pre-taped. You can just add in on a green screen them just running in. None of that. I just gave them 8 minutes worth of content, and I'm not even getting paid.
Yeah,
I thought this up just now, and I've. Oh man.
Anyway, so I guess what I was thinking was that they could do much more around the Performance Center. It doesn't seem like it'd be that difficult to have a skeleton crew just add a few additional segments with Gronk. And again, it is only night one, but if you're gonna host WrestleMania, there should be a little bit. Oh my gosh, I keep doing it. This is weird. This is going to take some getting used to, I think, to having a 2-day, WrestleMania, and I think that we'll definitely.
Yeah. How about we just take a second, just breathe. We're only halfway through. This is halftime. We're going to go on to the next, not of the show, but we're going to take to the next step of I forget what the exact next match was. Was it?
I got you covered. It was Elias taking on King Corbin.
That's why I forget it. It was just, I think I was on my phone for about 85 to 90% of that match.
It wasn't a great one, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was lazy and, pretty predictable.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just clunky. Did not hold my attention.
pretty much. I mean, it's just one of those ones that could have easily been a pre-show match, and I don't think that anybody would have noticed or even cared. Elias kind of getting a cheap roll-up win was what it was. I mean, by far, this was probably my least favorite match of the night. Doesn't do it for me. There really weren't any stakes or any reason to remain attached to this match. I mean, it kind of just was what it was.
True, and we were both correct on selecting this one as well. The night started out with us tied. Then the night started to turn sour.
Yeah, we both lost this next one.
No, never mind. I misspoke. There's the first misspoking of Eric Ozio. I picked King Corbin like a fool, but Elias was the victor. So that was the first one you got right. The next match.
So you were down 2-1, if I recall correctly at that point.
Yeah, maybe you do.
And then here's where things got weird. Becky Lynch taking on Shayna Baszler for the Raw Women's Championship. Becky Lynch retaining the Raw Women's Championship. So the man's dominant reign continues. What did you think of this match? What did you think of the finish?
It came out of nowhere. Like, I almost turned away for a second. I'm like, oh, okay. She just rolled her up, standing pin, almost like handstand pin. Not even handstand. I don't even know what do you call it? Like, she rolled her up.
Yeah, just a roll up and kind of shifted her weight so that she's getting the pin mid submission. All she's got to do is survive 3 more seconds while Shayna's worried about trying to tap her out.
Than I thought too. So
yeah,
overall, it was good, and they brought it, despite not having the influence of the crowd. Again, another match I think would have been a bit beneficial to have the crowd. I could have seen that match going outside and kind of getting rough, but I kind of expected more from Baszler overall, intensity wise. Didn't really see it, in my opinion.
That match was more or less a 10 o'clock hour match on Raw and not a WrestleMania marquee matchup, much like we thought that we'd get. And, I'm pretty surprised at the decision to see Becky retain. I think that, everybody, including myself, thought that the stars were aligned, that we were going to see this dominant performance by Shayna Baszler, high hopes for her in the Royal Rumble, eliminating her entire field in the Women's Elimination Chamber match, a match that we really didn't even need, like we talked about during yesterday's pre-show. But, here we are to see that path of destruction, kind of just wiped away in an instant on a roll-up win. Is it that Becky won that match or Shayna lost is a question that we're going to be asking. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see a round 2 of this, but I don't know. We have heard that Vince is not necessarily the highest on Shayna Baszler, so that could be what played into this being the case here. I don't really know, but maybe. I think the one saving grace is that Becky Lynch is at least a reliable champion that you can depend upon, given the uncertainty of kind of what comes next after Monday Night Raw. If we have new shows, if we have new SmackDown coming up after everything that they've taped so far, but again, match didn't blow me away. It was serviceable, but not like you said, not quite the war that I think that we thought we were in for, given how Shayna debuted in attacking Becky Lynch and what they've done to antagonize each other.
And we were both wrong on this one, unfortunately. Still putting you at a 2 to 1 lead at that time. 3-1. I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
Okay, we will have, just because he can't count right now, we'll have the official tallies up.
I can count when I choose to. When I choose to count. Next match was
now would be a good time, but
Intercontinental Championship match. Correct.
Yes.
That was next.
Yes.
With Sami Zayn facing off against Daniel Bryan. Honestly, a overall pretty sound technical match, and pretty both brought their signature moves. I didn't see the pointing, like obviously the Sammy doesn't do the through the ropes shooting. What's it called
Oh, the
again? He used to do?
DDT. Yeah.
Yeah, the shooting
Or
DDT.
or
Uh,
the suicide dive.
yeah, he doesn't do them anymore, but
Yeah.
still the running kick. Lots of yes kicks. Got out
The haluva
uh,
kick.
a luva kick, and definitely still a lua kick. Yeah, that's right. A lot of good outside interference. Went the right way. I like Drew Gulak stepping in, taking out Shinsuke and Cesaro. Um, Again, a very abrupt ending where I am again wrong, and I think this is where you took the 3-1 lead when Sami Zayn won and defeated Daniel Bryan, whom I picked, but clearly was putting over Sammy, which I'm happy for because I get the Sammy. I'm repping my Sammy. I've had my Sammy shirt for a
There you
while.
go.
Love the Samster, the zany one.
I could
Yeah.
call you a fair weather fan right now, but I'm not going to do that.
Because I don't pick somebody in a match doesn't mean I don't like them. That doesn't work that way. All right. I can still pick the Bengals to lose and still be a Bengals fan.
Let's leave them alone for a while. I don't want to talk about it.
Just saying.
Please.
As a fan.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, this was a good match. I was really disappointed that they didn't get at least another 5 to 6 more minutes just to, add a little bit more icing to the cake. But I think that they played the involvement really well as far as Cesaro, Shinsuke, and Drew Gulak. Both sides felt pretty evenly matched even when the chips were down. I do still think that they could, Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak could add one more person to the ranks, to help with this feud of the Artist Collective or League of Nations 2.0, whichever.
Where's all Lee been at?
That's a good question. Don't know. But he's not the name I was thinking of actually in this potential situation. I'm thinking Shorty G would be a perfect fit. Daniel Bryan, Drew Gulak, both technical masterminds. Shorty G, his background needs no introduction. He'd fit right in with these guys because they are about all the same size, evenly matched. And going up against guys like Zayn, Cesaro, Nakamura, I mean, any combination of these 6 guys can have a great match with each other. So it'd be nice to see, Shorty G added to the mix, and then to see them all somehow mix it up over the Intercontinental title over the next few months.
Shorty G, get him back in the mix. And then the next match we had on night 1 of WrestleMania 36, while members of the Eric Squared Circle show, Eric and I, were watching live, streaming virtually since we can't watch the show together.
Had a pretty cool Skype party. Yeah.
Skype party was the ladder match, triple threat ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship matchup of John Morrison versus Kofi Kingston versus Jay Uso?
Jimmy.
It was Jimmy. Singles match representing each tag team since The Miz was unable to compete. Very good match. I mean, definitely got me back into the card after I think that a couple of abrupt endings and that snoozer we were talking about. That really showed off how each one of those guys is has always been like a high fly kind of showman, legs flying around, not afraid to take the bump high up on a ladder, with a controversial ending, if you can say so, with everybody's hands being clamored on the championships, because with the tag teams they got to clip off the entire ring, but Morrison looked like he had grabbed kind of one of them and then the other one kind of fell. So they with Morrison and Miz I'm going to say Morrison and Miz Morrison retaining. Pretty good match, pretty solid. Almost a 4 maybe I would give it on the Metzel rating scale if I was Meltzer. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, before we saw the Boneyard match, this was my favorite match of the night. They really took advantage of the fact that this was a pre-tape match, and really the editing that they did was top notch here to make it compelling. I mean, Jimmy and Kofi and John Morrison, hats off to them, because it's got to be tough to put on a ladder match of that caliber and still make it intriguing and still make it interesting, knowing that you're not going to have a live audience, which means that you don't necessarily need to have the shock and awe, big spot moves to just generate that reaction in the crowd. They still found a way to make it athletic, make it entertaining, make it physical without necessarily sacrificing themselves too terribly. There was one point in particular where Jimmy's taking the fall off of the ladder, clearly falls outside the ring, but given the fact that it's a pre-taped show, they were probably able to put additional padding down there for him to take that bump and then just resume and edit it in a way that it looks like a pretty nasty spot that he's not necessarily taking, and they can really kind of save some of the wear and tear on their bodies by going through a match in this way. So for what the match was, absolute barn burner. I'd probably agree with you that we're looking at the 3.75, flirting with a 4-star range with this match, as far as where we were in the night. So hats off to them, and the finish at least says, hey, these teams are going to see each other at least one more time, and hopefully in a properly booked ladder match.
A match that we were both correct on. I love being able to put the green on our names. Next match was.
I still had the lead though.
I know.
I just want to point that out for everybody else listening at home.
The next match that we had, for which we both got wrong, actually, was the Kevin Owens Seth Rollins match.
It's still better than yours.
I'm sorry? I said I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying how my record was still better than yours, even with this next match here.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Because we both
got it
wrong.
Does matter.
And Kevin Owens wins this match. It's not just a outlying match. I was definitely expecting Seth Rollins to have interference from AOP to win this match. Possibly Murphy. But no, we have a KO win. Definitely something that, looking back on him winning, definitely needed for his kind of career right now, but definitely frustrating to not get that win in front of a real WrestleMania crowd, because he's gotten wins against Jericho, a few years ago when they were second on the card.
Vince hated that match.
Ridiculous. And then he beat AJ Styles in the first WrestleMania that he was in.
Yep.
WrestleMania 32. And I can't remember. I think he was out all the other time, but good for him there. But definitely wish another match that definitely. I think this is the match above all of them could have used the crowd more. Last night.
Yeah, for sure, and I'll be the first to admit, because I was if anybody out there was following along, I was live tweeting the show, and when I saw the disqualification win, I was so disappointed. I figured you're going to give us that during a pre-tape WrestleMania that people are already not they're not already not sure what to expect, so you're going to feed them that finish, and I was 100% wrong, and I own it right now. Because KO getting back in there and saying let's go, let's do this again, no holds barred, no disqualifications, let's go. They worked everybody, and that is the beauty again of a pre-taped WrestleMania where there were very few spoilers that got out. So yeah, this was a really cool match. Seeing them take the gloves off and let them roam around the environment was really, really cool. And gave us a bit of a teaser of what we'll probably see tonight in the Last Man Standing match with Edge and Randy Orton. And this will probably be the first and only time that we'll see somebody dive off of the WrestleMania sign.
We'll see. Yeah, and once Kevin Owens demanded that this match continue, it was pretty clear that he was going to win. I was like, I can't. Not that even if we had got it right, I wouldn't have been the same record. It would have been the same record.
But it's not.
The only way I make my comeback is if I make some huge splashes tonight, which, judging by my record, it's probably not going to go down that way. But I still hold out hope. But anyways, pretty solid match. Definitely needed to keep going. If it had ended right there with the disqualification, I would have been like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
And the show still ended at 10 o'clock last night, which is much earlier than any WrestleMania normally. But the second to last match that was on the card last night was the Blue Universal Championship of Braun Strowman versus Bill Goldberg. Really just a spot match. Several spears initiated early on by Goldberg, as we expected. You just taking Braun Strowman. I kind of went on the
Four
mind
spears.
Four spears that he was definitely going to win. Then Strowman goes into Strowman
Four power
mode,
slams.
4 power slams, Strowman mode, and pins him. And I'm wrong, and you're right.
I mean, yes, I'm right, and I'm super pumped that I'm right, but I didn't want it like this. This match and the result here, at least in my mind, hurts 3 people. Hurts Braun Strowman, at least in the short term anyway, because he is essentially going to be a transitional champion until the time is right to put it on Roman Reigns. That was the guy that was intended to take this title all along. And I don't see them, coming away from that anytime soon, barring some unexpected miracle. The only benefit that there was to this is that the Blue Universal title is now back on a full-time competitor. Goldberg gets to come in, have the Mania match that, people wanted to see, at least before Super Showdown anyway. And this hurts Bray Wyatt too, because you see what happened. You see what Goldberg did to take the title off of Bray, and if Braun Strowman can come in and do the same thing, it's just it just hurts the allure of all of these guys in a way that
it hurts the credibility.
Yes, same thing. Both.
I was just
fine,
adding my
whatever.
2 cents.
I guess. Yeah.
2 cents.
Okay, I'll take it. But yeah, no, I mean everybody that was involved in this match, like I understand, and I called it just because, like I said, you can count on a replacement, getting the win here, and I figured that'd be the case, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not really excited to see who's next for Braun Strowman, because just about everybody has beaten Braun Strowman because of how they've treated him to get to this point. And now here they are in a situation where they had to put a championship on him. And now they have the task, the unenviable task, of building him up to be a legitimate, Blue Universal champion, just so that Roman can vanquish him in a second come SummerSlam or Money in the Bank. But sooner rather than later, Roman Reigns will have that strap around his waist again, and it will be at the expense of Braun Strowman, and who knows when we'll see him in the title picture after that at this point. And not to mention that this isn't even taking into consideration the fact that at Elimination Chamber he got beat by Sami Zayn in a 3-on-1 match where he said, I can beat all of you guys, and that's our new Blue Universal champion. I'm happy for Braun the person, because he never complains. He has always said, I don't know why they don't take the chance on me, but I'll be ready when they do. He was ready when they did. Good for him. He's enjoying this moment. He absolutely should. I just think that they've got their work cut out for him to make him a legitimate champion, as far as, building that force of Braun back up again. I think that they can. I hope that they take it seriously, but we'll find out.
We'll check that out, see if he maybe makes an appearance on night 2 of WrestleMania tonight, and the pre-tape Raw after Mania. See how that goes. Obviously, he won't be on there because that'll be SmackDown, so we'll see about SmackDown. But maybe they'll just have everybody come up on Raw, since they don't know about SmackDown. So who knows? But moving on, in our YouTube Skype reaction show of night 1 of WrestleMania 36, it is April 5th. 2020. It's a Sunday. So we are giving our hot takes on the matches. We're on our final match of the card, and they did save the best for last. The Undertaker, which really he's just a new version of the American Badass in this match, versus AJ Styles, the Phenom versus the Phenomenal One, in a Boneyard match. I know I made jokes in the previous episode about saying, are they going to use bones and hit each other with bones? No, it's literally just going to be in a graveyard / boneyard, or made to look like a boneyard somewhere, outside the vicinity of the Performance Center in the middle of the night. Took 5 hours to show that program, to cut it and edit it. well, not edit it, but to film it,
To record it, yeah.
record it. Um, it was damn good. I enjoyed it. It was funny. It was intense. Not so much funny, but it was just enticing. Undertaker looked healthy. He looked bad.
Dude, it did
Looked
have some
bad.
moments where you could chuckle and just think that this was kind of campy, and it was some of the dialogue that was
I guess AJ
that they
Styles was
had
just
for
cracking
him,
me up, and like when he
Sure.
kept calling, he was calling him out like, "What's my wife's name? What's her name? What's her
Yeah.
name? Alan? Huh, Alan? What's my wife's name?
Yeah.
Shut the hell up." He's like, and just taking the face, and then just random dudes in hoods that you don't see faces that just show up with the OC.
It's mostly druids.
They're OC druids. He just takes them all out in one punch each, and I'm like, classic, just a knee, punch,
Yeah.
knee punch,
Yeah.
American Badass style. Doesn't even need to wind up all the way. Takes out the OC, chucks Gallows off the
Off the
roof
tin
there.
roof.
I wanted to try to
Tombstones,
see where he
Carl.
went to, but I'm sure he just went to like a big,
Crash
Mat,
pad or
crash pad.
yeah, something to
big crash pad for the big man. Tombstoning.
yeah.
Anderson was pretty great. He's like, "What are you gonna do now, AJ or Alan?" Did he call him? He didn't call him Alan the whole time, but
I mean, he
still
kind
got
of
your guys.
interspersed it. I mean, it just everything about this match was, and a lot of people, ourselves included, were concerned about, okay, what is this actually going to entail here, because no one had heard of it before. But the second that video package ended and we go right into the Undertaker's theme and the hearse making its way into the gravesite, to have that coffin pop open and out comes AJ Styles was just absolutely perfect. I mean, that was just the most that was just the most creative entrance, because you've seen Shawn Michaels play around with the casket before as a mind game. You've seen Undertaker, Kane do it. You've seen a lot of people try to use that as a mind game, and it didn't work. Taker coming in on a motorcycle, having Metallica blaring in the background. I mean, everything about that entrance just screamed the incarnation of every single element and aspect of Undertaker's character for 30 years coming to light for this one performance. And they're just I'm flabbergasted with everything that they were able to pull off. And I don't know how much you listen to the dialogue of this while they're fighting, but Taker says, I've been in this. I've been here 30 years. Like, I've learned how to take a licking. Like, this is nothing to me. Like, let's go. And for Undertaker to just kind of play that last outlaw that even when the chips were down and he is just gasping for air, and he's just you're thinking it's over, you're thinking it's done, and just Taker fighting back and thinking for that 1 second that you were going to see some sympathy out of Undertaker, and then just booting him into the grave that he dug. He said it at the beginning of the match, like, no, you dug your own grave. And lo and behold, taking that covering off of the tombstone to see AJ Styles' name already on it, just
sticking out at the end there.
The ultimate mic drop.
That's gonna be even high sells for the gloves. Just
gloves
sticking out.
Montez Ford already tweeted an image with a Solo Cup transfixed into AJ's hand there. So, I mean, everything about that match was just absolutely spot on. Hats off to Jeremy Borash, Paul Heyman, Triple H, AJ, Taker, Gallows, Anderson, everybody that had a hand in that match. I mean, nobody expected anything like that. And I think that we've seen kind of the next chapter of Undertaker matches at WrestleMania, because if you can get a performance like that out of the Undertaker, where AJ doesn't have the burden of carrying him to a match on live TV in front of 70,000 people, and do it on a closed location over 5 hours and making every move look good and having the chance to take their time, we can get another 10 years of Undertaker at WrestleMania. We could get Sting versus Undertaker at WrestleMania if they take this approach, and I would hope that this is a learning lesson for WWE, because you had Matt Hardy under contract, and he could have been that guy to show you how to do something like this, or have another hand in it in addition to Jeremy Borash, and how closely they work together in the Broken Universe and Impact. Skies would have only been the limit had Matt Hardy still been in-house to have some say in how something like that should go, because if it wasn't for them figuring out that formula, nobody else would have been reenacting it. And it's got me genuinely excited for the Firefly Funhouse tonight, because Cena and Bray Wyatt are much better actors than Undertaker and AJ Styles. So if we get even a fraction of what we saw last night for that match, I think that we're going to be in good hands. But absolutely, this match made night one of WrestleMania. That was the way to send people home happy, or having them change the channel happy, knowing what it was that they got. And man, I'm buzzing over that match. I could watch it a couple more times today.
I'm excited to see some of the coverage early on in the night 2 here of that match, and then the fallout of it. Whenever we're going to get some consistent wrestling, confirm we have that. But yeah, that is all the matches that had happened right night 1 of WrestleMania 36. Again, we have night 2 starting at 7 p.m. tonight, pre-show starting at 6. You can catch it on the WWE Network, the Fight app. You can check it out. There's pay-per-views. I think they're still doing
Fox Sports 1 as well.
Fox Sports as well. Check it out. This is the Eric Square Circle Show. We're coming to you not live, just via Skype, via YouTube.
Yep.
Just the morning after night 1 of WrestleMania, and we'll come to you again Monday morning. Reaction, maybe even earlier than that. We'll see, because we don't have anything to do.
Like, literally not. We have just nothing better to do. It's fine.
Yeah.
What can you do?
All right, buddy.
Anyway, we'll talk to y'all soon.
Have a good day.
And cut. So yeah, that was good.
You're good.
Nah, you're okay.
I didn't say okay. I said good.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Eric Squared Circle Show. If you liked what you heard, take a quick second to leave us a review, and if it's a 5-star, we'll read it on the air. We really want to hear from you guys, so if you have a question, trivia, interview ideas, or any other suggestions, we want to hear them. Shoot us an email at ericsquaredcircle@gmail.com. And don't forget, you guys are the reason that we do this show. It's the ultimate show by Smarks, for Smarks, so what's not to love? Let's keep the discussion going on Twitter using the hashtag E2SC, and join our server on Discord. Last but not least, subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you turn on notifications, because you'd be crazy to miss anything it is that we're doing right now.